Right, today's video I'm going to be doing will be on the Rhacodactylus Leachianus Henkeli. I won't be doing it on the Grande as I've never kept a Grande hatchling before. The difference between the two is that the Henkeli are a lot smaller and they don't grow as fast as the Grande does. When they're adult size, the Henkeli will usually be a few inches smaller, but as the Grande grows a lot faster, it means that you'll be upgrading the tank a lot sooner. Now, for the first few months of my Henkeli's, say hatchling, when it was hatchling days, I kept it in this small faunarium. I had to put masking tape all the way around it. I'll quickly show you. The idea or purpose for using all this masking tape around the sides is that because they're so small, they're very scared animals. So if you keep them in something that's got masking tape around it like that, it blocks out them seeing anything moving backwards and forwards, so they're less likely to be afraid and stop eating and stuff. You'd need to kit out with stuff like cork bark, as in their natural habitat. That's mainly where they'll be sleeping when they're young, as well as adults, but mostly when they're young they won't hardly leave that except to find food and such. So you don't really need any plants, just use some cork bark in there, various pieces, just for them to move around and find a spot they like best. You don't want to overcrowd it, because you obviously need to put in a food bowl, and there's no point using a water dish as they don't drink from them. Only a few I've seen do it, but the best way is to just mist it with water for them to drink. It will just run down the sides and they'll usually drink that. Since I've owned my Leachianus Henkeli, I've actually upgraded the tank only 3 times in the year I've had it. I started off in the small, moved into the large faunarium when the gecko reached about 30 grams in weight, and I upgraded to the bigger terre glass tank when it was about 53 grams in weight, and that was literally only a week ago, and it's eating and everything fine in here, so he's moved and settled in very quickly. Now in this tank, it's not as tall as it should be, as these geckos are arboreal, but it's only what I had to do now. So as soon as he reaches about 75 grams in weight, I'll pick up the one that's a bit taller, which will last him quite a long time. When Leachianus geckos are young, they tend to be very scared and they'll move quite quickly, and they don't really make any of the vocalizations that these geckos are known to do. But as soon as they pick up a bit of weight and they get a bit of confidence, they will actually make noises such as barking and growling, hissing, chirping and whistling and all sorts. He has started huffing and puffing at me lately because he feels that he can, because he's gotten quite big since I first got him. In this tank, which I'm keeping him now, I'll quickly show you what I'm keeping in there with him. So as you can see there, I'm using a cork bark log, which is a half cut out. He goes inside there and sticks to the wall of it. This is a Magnatural's magnetic vine. They shouldn't really have that when they're adults, because they will just literally tear it off the glass, because it's not strong enough to hold their weight, I would imagine. But while he's a baby, it will do. At the bottom, there's the platform to keep the food. I'll quickly show you that, which is just there. That's Magnaturals again. That's the Magnaturals mushroom feeding ledge. You can pick that up on the internet. They are good. I use them in all of my tanks to hold the food. It's just better because they are quite clumsy, and if they step in it, you don't want that, because it will just dry up and they can get skin problems, and people have said that they've lost geckos to that. As well as misting. With misting, you need it again about 70%, same with crested geckos, which are most commonly kept. You want to only spray one side of their tank, because if you end up spraying it everywhere, they can get skin infections. Literally, where it's because they have wrinkles, it will go in between there and it will cause a lot of problems, and again, it can kill them. So with spraying, all you literally want to do is get your sprayer and you want to spray one side. literally about like that. I do that twice a day. I would generally do it a little bit more than that, but I'll do it again a bit later. And he'll just go up to the sides and lick all of the water off there. So again, you don't need to put in a water dish, but you can if you would like to. Right, with keeping a Leachianus, what to feed, you would need to get either the Clark's gecko diet, which is this one here, or the Rhacodactylus. I believe they only do the complete version now. I haven't really checked, but I use the Clark's gecko diet, and they seem to like it. To give it a bit of flavouring, to make them wanna eat a lot more of it, I add in a fresh banana. I blend that up until it's pretty smooth. If you need to add some water just to make it watered down, you can. And I also picked up some of this, which is tropical fruit jam. It's pretty, after I've read it, it sounds pretty much like a more sweeter version of baby food. That's why you don't use as much, so you just put a little tiny bit in. Some people don't use baby food at all because they say that it's not really good for them, but as long as you use it in small proportions, then it won't cause any problems. It just gives it a bit of flavour and it makes them eat a bit more of it again. So I add the Clark's gecko diet. I usually put about a spoonful in, and then maybe about one fifth of this banana all blended up, and then just literally half a teaspoon of this jam. Mix it all up, and that's fine. The reason for using the Clark's gecko diet or any other like Rhacodactylus is that it does have all the calcium that they need for the strong bones, as well as it has minerals and everything else that keeps them healthy. So they are something that you would need to get, but you can always experiment with the food, as geckos, they like all different sorts of things. So I found that with my Leachianus Henkeli, he prefers papaya, mango. He's not too keen on stuff like guava and stuff like that, but he does like banana also. So these are the ones I use. So with keeping Leachianus, you just need to experiment and see which one your one prefers. Also, when the gecko reaches a good size, some people feed these to hatchlings, as I wouldn't, because when mine was only a hatchling at 2 weeks old, very, very small, and from what I see, he can just about take it now without any problems. But if you was to feed this when it was only a few weeks old, it can cause problems, in my opinion. So this is a frozen mouse pinky. It's about 1 to 2 grams. It's pretty small, but again, the gecko it starts off small, so you don't really want to jump straight to that. I started feeding that when it was about 35-40 grams in weight, and he took it nicely. You don't want to feed this too often. I feed one about every month and a half or so. Main diet, just feed the crested gecko diet or the Clark's crested gecko diet. They are the main food that the gecko should get. Right, now for actually setting up a tank suitable for a hatchling Leachianus. What I've done in all of my gecko tanks, whether they've been hatchlings or adults, I just use kitchen roll. Now the reason I use kitchen roll is that if they've got live food running around, small geckos, big geckos, they may miss. And if you're using something like cocoa fibre or any other sort of dirt or wood chip in, they may miss. And if they do, and they manage to catch any of the dirt, they will ingest some. And if that can cause a lot of problems if they can't pass it through. Wood chippings would be the worst. That will literally just block up, and you would need to take it to a vet. So I avoid the hassle, so I just use kitchen roll. Obviously it's not as nice looking, but it does the job and it's safe for the animal, so that's all that matters. So you literally put it inside like that, and then you just have a bit of cork bark maybe around here. Just put the food down here, and that's pretty much all the gecko would need for that tank. And then just put it somewhere where there's not much noise, because with Leachianus, as I explained earlier, they can get scared quite easily. So as long as there's not too much noise or music or TVs going on, they should be fine, and you'll notice them growing in no time.